Hey everybody, good evening. It's right at 8:30. So hopefully some of you will be able to hop on live here in just a minute. Once you're on live, just simply say hello, I'm here. Just something to let us know that that you can see me and that you're in the group. If you have any questions while we're going through the content, please just post those into the comment box and I'll be checking those periodically and we'll try to answer all of those. And if I, for some reason, don't get to that while we're talking tonight, then I will go back through and be sure to answer all of those. Hey, Rochelle. Glad you could hop on right at 8:30. I know we'll have some more people hopping on. It takes a few minutes for it to show up in people's news feed. I want to start tonight by kind of telling those who don't know me just a little bit about myself, because I know that many of you were invited by other people, and I don't know many of you that are watching personally. Some of you may even be watching the recording once this plays back. But my name is Julie Davey, and I am a nurse practitioner by profession. I'm also the co-founder of A Natural Shift with my sister, which is a health and wellness business that we've created because we are super passionate about sharing just really simple tips and tricks that we have learned over time that have really helped us to sort of shift into a healthier lifestyle. And essential oils are really just one key piece to that. And they can really help in so many different areas. And that's what I hope to relay to you tonight, and again, answer any questions that you might have. So as I said, I'm a nurse practitioner, so I've been very familiar and spent most of my career in traditional medicine. And of course, see, some of the great things about traditional medicine, but also some of the downfalls, to traditional medicine. And it wasn't until about 4 years ago when I was introduced to essential oils that I really began to look into and research more in regards to holistic medicine and how powerful that could be and how it could really work with our bodies and really elevate our health, so to speak. So that's kind of what I want to explain and kind of describe to you guys tonight. So I like to start all of my classes with just what essential oils are, because I know many people, we all come from a different knowledge base, and if you're like me, when I started using the oils, I knew absolutely nothing about them. Even being in the medical field, being a medical professional, knew nothing about them. So essential oils basically come from plants. They're extracted from either the root, the bark, the stem, or the leaf of a plant. Unless we're talking about a citrus oil, then that comes from the rind or the outside of the fruit, such as a lemon or a lime or a grapefruit, something like that. And I want to kind of give you a comparison because many people are familiar with using herbs for medicinal properties, right? Well, herbs are the powdered form of the plant. And in comparison to essential oils are much more potent. So they are up to 70 times stronger, more powerful, more concentrated than herbs. So a little bit really, really goes a long way. And that's one of the things that I absolutely love about essential oils is you only need a small dose to, achieve the desired effect, but also that makes them super effective, or not effective, but super cost effective is what I meant to say. So that, often people will say, well, these are kind of expensive, but they last so long and they're really pennies per drop. And I'll give you a little bit more information on that, as we go along. Now, I want to talk next about how they work with our bodies and kind of in our bodies. So, being familiar with more traditional medicine, you probably know that often when we take a medication for some type of symptom, we're really kind of putting a Band-Aid on the problem, right? We're treating the symptom, but not necessarily the underlying root of the problem. And with essential oils, the way that they are a little bit different is that they actually can be utilized very easily by the body, and they restore balance in the body. And what they do is they really help our bodies to heal themselves, which is what God intended for our bodies to do anyway. When we support our bodies with the right things and, with and not just oils, but the right diet and lifestyle, then our bodies, can heal themselves and they're stronger. Our immune systems are stronger. So that's kind of really where essential oils can play a real key role in your health and really just elevate your health and wellness. Now, the other thing, as far as how they work within the body, the molecules are very, very small. And so they are able to go into our cells and work at a cellular level, which, even some of our traditional medications, just because of the molecule size and such, aren't even able to do that. So it kind of gives them an even added advantage. And these oils are nothing new. I mean, we're all familiar with the essential oils that many of them are mentioned in the Bible. Most of us are familiar with frankincense and myrrh given to Jesus at his birth, right? So these have been used for thousands of years. I think in society we've just kind of had moved away from that, but now there's a huge movement back towards that because we see not only the public, but even medical professionals see some of the detrimental side effects and things that can happen from traditional medicine. Now, I'm certainly not suggesting that there will never be a place, for traditional medicine. There absolutely will be. But I think that if we have tools available to us that we can grab first and use to see if we can really, affect our bodies in a positive way, then that would be best, right? We want something that works with our body that does not cause harm to our body. So that's really where essential oils can come in and play a big role, not only in your health, but in the health of your family. Now, there are several different types of oils, and I want to mention to you because it can be super confusing when you are out, maybe you're in Walmart. I mean, Walmart sells oils now. Best Buy, I saw some oils in Best Buy. I mean, they're pretty much everywhere, certainly in health food stores. And there is a big difference. There is no regulating body to essential oils, just as there's no regulating body to herbs. You are really taking the word for the company and the labeling as to what is in that product that you purchase, right? That's why it is just really, really key to know the source that your oils come from and to know that it's a reputable source so that you are getting something that is free of pesticides, chemicals, residue. Because if you're really wanting to transition to more of a healthy lifestyle, then my guess is you don't want to be adding any, kind of synthetics or toxins into your body, right? So that's super important. So there are a few different types of oils. There are basically oils that are used in fragrance, whether it's perfume or soaps or shampoos. That's a huge, those are synthetic oils. Those are man-made oils that you find on the market. And then there are food grade oils that are generally recognized as safe. That's how they're labeled, generally recognized as safe to be used in our food. That would be something like some peppermint in chewing gum, or maybe some lemon flavor in a salad dressing. Then the third type would be your therapeutic oils. Oils that are said to have a therapeutic benefit. Now, this would be something that you would typically find in a health food store. But as we know, I'll give you the kind of comparison of food labels. We know that food labels can be very deceiving, right? What does natural, all natural, no added preservatives, like what does all that really mean, right? It can kind of be, like I said, deceiving. And when we're talking about essential oils, a company is only required to include 10% of the active ingredient. So if you have, say, a bottle of lavender that you see at the health food store, and it's labeled 100% pure lavender oil, by law, they are only required to put 10% of that lavender in that bottle, and the other 90% can be filled with synthetics, which is really scary and unfortunate that we, you know, as the public can be deceived in that way. So that's therapeutic grade. So that's the third kind. And then the fourth is something called certified pure therapeutic grade. And that's really what sets the company that I've chosen to partner with, called doTERRA, that's really what sets them apart from any other company. They're the largest essential oil company in the world. They do tons of research on their product, and what's really awesome is that they can, I'm sorry, I saw a comment coming in. Can using essential oils in homemade soap have health benefits? Yes, it can. It depends upon, Marcella, it depends upon which essential oil you're referring to as far as what the benefit would be, because they, you know, all have a different chemical composition and different health benefits. But yes, absolutely, to answer your question. So back to doTERRA and what really sets them apart. It's really their sourcing, where they get the oils from, and then also their testing. So they have very high sourcing and testing standards. They source all of their oils from where they indigenously grow, meaning they natively grow. We know that if we were to plant, let's take for instance lavender in Georgia, you know, it would grow. We could maybe even extract the oil from it. But the benefits, the therapeutic, first of all, the chemical composition and the therapeutic benefits to it would be nothing in comparison to lavender that's growing wild in the Swiss Alps of France, right? And so that's what doTERRA is really committed to, sourcing all of their oils from where they natively or indigenously grow. And then once they source the oils, they have a very strict testing policy where they go through a multitude of tests within the company, and then they are also third-party tested, sent out to an unbiased third party where they can be sure that there are no chemicals, pesticides, residue, and it just makes us feel really good about, you know, the product that we're getting. There's also another huge benefit to these oils, or something that's super awesome about the oils. Sorry, my daughter was asking me a question. You can open it. The other awesome thing that doTERRA does is something called co-impact sourcing. And this is where they partner with these often third world countries, where they go into the country and they source, let's just take vetiver, is an oil that is sourced from Haiti. And they go into the country and they see that there's a huge need there in the, you know, as far as their economy and also their health and their wellness. And they partner with these countries to provide things like clean drinking water, education, to give them jobs where they wouldn't otherwise have them. So that's, you know, another thing that can make you feel really good about the products that you get, that that they're sourced in a very reputable way, so to speak. So that's why I chose to partner with this particular company. Now, next, I want to go over some of the ways that you can use essential oils, and then we'll get into those 10 specific oils that I wanted to talk about tonight. So the first way to use the oils is aromatically. And one of the most common ways aromatically is to use a diffuser. I'm going to show you this just in case if you're brand new to essential oils, then you may not have ever even seen a diffuser. This is a very popular diffuser that doTERRA carries called the Petal Diffuser. It's one of my absolute favorites. I have several of these in my house. And you just basically put water in that and put a few drops of your essential oil, and then plug it in, turn it on, and a mist will come out and disperse that out into the air. Now, the big benefit, or one of the big benefits to using the diffuser, is that when we inhale essential oils, it affects something in our brain called the limbic system. And the limbic system, think of it as as sort of like a bundle of nerves that really affects our emotions. Okay, so that's why when we inhale essential oils, one of the most common ways to use them is for mood management. Whether it's you need to lift the mood, you're feeling down maybe, and you need to lift the mood, then you would diffuse something such as a citrus oil that's very uplifting. Or maybe it's that you or someone in your family, your children, feel very anxious or unsettled and you need something calming, then you would maybe diffuse something such as lavender that could be very calming, because again, when those are inhaled, they get into that limbic system in our brain and can really have powerful effects there. Now, the other way, or the other benefit to aromatic use is to help control bacteria in the air, to help cleanse the air, let's say, because these particles get out into the air, and many of these oils have antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal properties. So very, very beneficial as far as cleansing the air. And if you think about, I keep one of these diffusers in my main area in my home, in the kitchen, on the island, where people are constantly, kids especially, are coming in and out of the house, and they're bringing in germs and who knows what, and you're just really cleansing the air and helping rid the air in your home of some of that. Now, the other way that I love, or the other benefit that I love to aromatic use, is they make your home smell amazing. And there are so many different combinations that you can use. You could create a different scent every day of the year if you wanted to. But one thing that these have really done for me and for many others is help us to eliminate and just really rid our homes of toxins and chemicals with things like plug-ins and candles. I mean, we all want our homes to smell great, right? I mean, nobody wants to come in and your house not smell good, but you can do that in a much more natural way. And honestly, one of the most toxic things that are found in homes are plug-ins. Those are plug-ins and candles. Those are one of the, or two, I should say, of the most toxic things that we bring into our homes. And we're constantly inhaling and exposing our bodies and our families, to chemicals and toxins. And not to make anyone feel bad, I used to use those all the time. But this is really just about, classes that we do such as this are really about education and providing you with the tools that you need to make the shift, to make healthier changes, to make choices for you and your family, to shift towards a healthier lifestyle. So don't feel bad. It happens, little steps at a time. So honestly, if you just choose one area of your health that you want to positively affect, you start there, and then it just builds as you learn more and as you grow and as you incorporate these things. The next way, so that's aromatic use. Oh, I did want to mention one other thing about aromatic use. Aromatic use is really great for respiratory health. So it really helps to open up the airways. And I'll talk a little bit more in just a moment about some of the oils that have a very positive effect on opening the airways. So the second way to use the oils is topically, to place them on the skin somewhere on the body. Now, we know that the skin is the largest organ in our body, right? Anything that goes onto our skin is absorbed directly into our bloodstream. So again, super important to choose wisely what you place on your skin and on that of your children in your family. Topical use is probably, topical and aromatic are neck and neck as far as which one's more common. I probably use oils topically even a little bit more than aromatically, even though I do diffuse oils every day. But topical use is so convenient and easy, especially on the go. If I'm in the car, at different places in my home, I keep oils that if I, have something such as head tension and I want to apply something directly to my head to, help rid my body of that, then I'll apply it topically. So that's one way to apply the oils to the specific area of ailment. So whether it's you're having some head tension, maybe some back discomfort, neck discomfort, stomach discomfort, any specific area in the body, you can dilute, and I'll talk about dilution in just a minute. You can dilute the essential oil and then rub it topically on the area. Now, one of sort of what we consider the default area as far as topical use is the bottom of the feet. And the bottom of the feet, you have tons of pores, and the oils can actually get absorbed into the bloodstream within 30 seconds. So, I mean, super fast and effective. That's probably, the bottom of the feet is probably the most common area to use, especially on children. Because, you know, most of the time, unless it's a small baby that's grabbing their feet, they're not going to be touching their feet. If that were the case, another area that I like to use them is just rubbing them along the spine, because you can get really good topical absorption. But most of the time, you know, small children, if you're worried about them getting it on their hands, they're not going to be able to reach back and touch their spine. So that's another area where you can kind of think of the feet and the spine as getting more of a systemic absorption. If you didn't have just one area of ailment that you wanted to use the oils and you wanted kind of it to be more of a systemic absorption, then you would choose perhaps the bottom of the feet or the spine. Another way topically that I love to use them is throughout the day. This is a roller bottle, and many of the oils come already pre-mixed or pre-made in these roller bottles. It just has a little roller on it, but I love to just take my wrist and roll a little bit of oil there and rub it together and just smell it, because you can get not only some benefits from topical absorption, but you can get the aromatic benefit as well. And your skin there on your wrist is pretty thin. There's quite a few blood vessels there, so you get pretty good absorption there. Now, when we're talking about topical use, it is important to dilute your essential oils, especially for younger, for children, and then also for the elderly. Anybody who may have thinner skin or more sensitive skin, you always want to dilute. It's best to dilute in all cases, but to be quite honest, I don't have sensitive skin, and I will often just pick up a bottle, open it, get a little bit on my finger, and maybe, rub it on a specific area of ailment. You want to dilute with a carrier oil. Now, the most common carrier oil would be something like a coconut oil. What I love to use is something called fractionated coconut oil, and you can see this stays liquid at room temperature. So the benefit to this is, and the reason that it stays liquid at room temperature is there's been a fat molecule removed from the coconut oil. So if you're familiar with having coconut oil that you purchase maybe at the grocery store, and you have it maybe in your kitchen, you know that at room temperature it kind of solidifies, right? In the colder months, it's going to be hard. So when you're diluting oils, it's a little bit better and easier to have some fractionated coconut oil, is what that's called. And again, that stays liquid at room temperature. So the general kind of rule of thumb is for most older children and adults, you can go with about a 1-to-1 or 1-to-3 ratio. So that means 1 drop of essential oil to 1 to 3 drops of your carrier oil. Now, for a small child, or again, someone with sensitivity or really thin skin, then you might want to dilute a little bit heavier. Maybe go up to anywhere from a teaspoon to all the way up to a tablespoon if you were talking about a newborn baby, to 1 drop of essential oil. And there are some guidelines for that as well that we provide in our team group that that I'd be happy to share with you guys. So, but that's just kind of a general rule of thumb. Now, the third and final way to use the oils and to get them into your body is internal use. So, internal use, generally, if you have children over 7, age 7 and up, they can take the oils internally. Now, some people who are very familiar with essential oils will use them on children smaller. I I didn't have these tools when my children were small, but I did use them. I've been using them since they were 6 or 7 internally in very small amounts. But using them internally, the benefit to that is, let's take some of the citrus oils, for instance, such as lemon, orange, grapefruit. Those are very cleansing and detoxifying to our bodies. So using them internally, like drinking them in your water, can really help to cleanse and detoxify your cells, just to cleanse your cells of all the junk and gunk that builds up in your cells. You always want to make sure when you are consuming them internally that you drink them in stainless steel or in glass, okay? And the reason for that is they will break down the chemicals in plastic or in styrofoam. So very important to always use stainless steel or glass. Now, this is about 20 ounces, I think. It might only be 16 to 20 ounces, let's say. And I like to use one of the citrus oils in my water throughout the day. So in a container such as this, I would use 1 to 2 drops of the oil of my choice. Lemon, grapefruit, orange, lime, something like that. And then drink that in my water throughout the day. Now, the other way to use them internally, or one of the other ways, is you can actually make your own capsule. If you wanted to take, say, a blend of oils for maybe you were feeling like you were coming down with something, feeling like you were getting sick, and you wanted to make a blend of oils to help rid your body of that, then you can get these veggie capsules. There are 160 in here, I think, yes. And they're like $4. And this lasts me, honestly, over a year. I mean, I don't use these that much, only when I feel like me or my husband are coming down with something. Then I'll use some oils. And what you'll do, use some oils this way. What you'll do is you'll just pop that open, and then you just place the drops into your veggie capsule, pop it back together, and you've made your own capsule. And then you just take it that way. You can also use them under your tongue. That's a really good way, just to put a couple of drops of something like frankincense under your tongue. I'll talk about frankincense in just a few minutes, but it's really great for immune support and inflammatory reduction in the body. And by placing them under your tongue, that's called the sublingual area, you get really good absorption there. There's some blood vessels there, and you get really good absorption. So that's another way to use them internally. So that's sort of the 3 ways to use them. And now I'm going to talk about those 10 basic oils that I posted the picture of within the group. And these are really, if you have these 10 oils on hand, you are pretty much going to be able, you are going to have something to grab anytime anything comes up. I mean, I would say just about anything comes up in your home, one of these oils you will be able to use. So these are kind of what we consider the starter basics. So the first one that I want to talk about is lemon. And I do want to mention one of the ways, some of the oils are not recommended to be used internally. And doTERRA is the only brand that is safe for internal consumption. So I do want to make that clear. I never want anybody to leave one of my classes and go and buy some oils over the counter and consume them internally. And most of them will say not for internal consumption, but I just wanted to make that clear. Now, as far as doTERRA's oils are concerned, there are some that are not recommended to take internally. And the way that you know if an oil is safe to be used internally is it will have this label on the side that says supplemental facts, just like a food label. So if an oil has supplemental facts on the side, the bottle does, then you can consume it internally, okay? So this is lemon. Lemon is amazing. This is one of the least expensive oils. This bottle, which these 15 milliliter bottles, there are about 250 drops in this bottle. It actually takes, here's a fun fact, it actually takes the zest or the rind of 45 lemons to fill this bottle, which is crazy, right? I mean, that just shows you how super concentrated they are. And generally, you only need anywhere from 1 to 3, sorry, I thought something happened to my screen, 1 to 3 drops per use or application. So you can see that, you know, this bottle would last a long time. This bottle wholesale cost is $10. So, you know, that just goes to show you how really cost effective they can be and inexpensive they can be. So what I like to use lemon for, when you think of lemon, think of all things cleansing, okay? Not only can it cleanse our bodies, like I mentioned with the detox, it also is great for cleaning your house. I clean my house, my countertops, my windows, pretty much anything with lemon, with a combination of lemon and typically vinegar and water. I mean, that's it. That's so easy. But lemon is also great for removing sticky substances. So you know how sometimes you'll get a mirror or a picture frame or even a new cup or something you bought at the store, peel that sticker off and it still has that sticky residue there. You put 1 or 2 drops of the lemon essential oil and then it will just come right off. So that's a great way to use it. It's a great degreaser. It helps to remove odor, so I use that often in my laundry. That's another great way to use it. And diffusing it, because it's one of the citrus oils, it's super uplifting and just really promotes, I want to say happy thoughts and just kind of lifts the mood in general. Vanderbilt actually did a study using diffusing the citrus oils in their emergency department, and they looked at the morale among the staff. And what they did was they did a pre-test and tested the morale. They diffused citrus oils for 2 weeks and then did a post-test. And they found an 87% increase in morale among their staff. So that's huge. And then they began to diffuse essential oils in their emergency department as sort of their standard. So that's just kind of one brief study that I wanted to mention that really shows the power that these oils can have. Lemon also has some antihistamine properties. So it is one that we'll use often in what we refer to as the seasonal blend. You know, this time of year, there are so many seasonal threats out in the air, and lemon is really great. I'll tell you the other 2 that go in that blend in just a minute, but lemon is one of those. It can help to relieve any stuffiness in the nose. Often, especially for my daughter, she tends to get a stuffed up nose. I will rub lemon over the bridge of her nose, and that really helps to alleviate and open that up some for her. Lemon is great for soothing throat discomfort. That's one of the ways that we use it all the time. A drop of lemon on a spoonful of honey and swallow that, and then apply some lemon, just rub it topically over the throat, and it works, honestly, I mean, in minutes. It's awesome. I have sent many times I've sent them to school after they've woken up with some throat discomfort just from doing that, and then they're fine. So really nice tools to have on hand. The next one that I want to talk about that is also in that seasonal blend is lavender. Now, most of you are familiar with lavender in that it is very calming and soothing, right? So lavender is great for promoting a healthy night's sleep, healthy rest, and just calming the mood, calming any nervous or anxious feelings. It's great to just inhale it, so you get that aromatic benefit. Also, I like to diffuse it on the bedside table at night, especially in my kids' rooms, because again, that just helps promote a restful night's sleep. Now, lavender is great for the skin as well. Because it's so soothing, I like to keep it on hand and use it for any type of cuts scrapes, abrasions, bites, any type of burns, whether it's, due to, a heating element like the stove or just from sunburn. Lavender is a really great one to have on hand. And lavender is often called the Swiss Army knife of essential oils because it's kind of, you think of it like a first aid type oil. So I love to have lavender on hand for that. Now, lavender, like I said, is one of the oils in the seasonal blend. And the third oil that is in that seasonal blend that I will talk about next is peppermint. Peppermint, oh my goodness, peppermint is amazing. Peppermint is super uplifting and invigorating and just really kind of wakes you up. I love to use peppermint before I go for a workout, or if I'm just trying to maybe, I'm working on the computer and I'm just, kind of, it's getting monotonous and I just really want to wake up. Peppermint is a great one to use. Now, it is also really good for any type of head tension. So applying, a drop to your temples, you can even rub it across the head here. It's really, really great for head tension. It's very cooling. So in the warmer months, or also if you have experienced a sunburn, you could add some peppermint to the lavender in a spray and just spray that on the body for the cooling effect of the peppermint. It's really good for alleviating any type of joint discomfort as well. So just mixing that with one of your carrier oils, such as your coconut oil. Krista said that she loves it in her coffee. Yes, that's another really popular way, and water, absolutely. It's just very cooling and refreshing to drink in your water, and also in your coffee. It just, if you add a little bit of cocoa to that, it's just like a mocha. I love it. It's so good. But peppermint is another way that's I love to use it is for focus. So if you diffuse peppermint oil when, say, your kids are maybe studying for a test, there are actually studies that have shown that it is good for memory retention. So I like to diffuse it when the kids are studying because, again, it not only helps with focus, but it also helps with that memory retention. So that's another great way to use it. So just to kind of recap, the seasonal blend is the lemon, lavender, and peppermint in equal parts. And doTERRA actually makes this really easy for us. They actually make this in a pill that's already formulated that you could just take every day called Tri-Ease. But if you had the oils, what you could do is you would mix equal parts of those oils with the carrier oil and add it to a roller bottle. That's how I use it for my kids. I'll use it on the bottom of their feet because they do suffer with some, some seasonal threats. So I'll use it in that way. The next single oil that I'm going to talk about is frankincense. And frankincense, most of you, again, know frankincense from the Bible. It was given to Jesus at his birth. Frankincense in those times was as valuable as gold. And frankincense is often referred to as the king of oils. And that's because it can really and truly be used for almost anything. So sort of the saying goes, if you don't know what to use frankincense. Or if you've maybe tried another essential oil for a particular ailment and didn't get the desired effect that you were looking for, try frankincense. Frankincense has very high anti-inflammatory properties. So it's really, really great for reducing overall inflammation in the body. I actually use it. I take 2 drops under my tongue every night before I go to bed. And that's just, again, a way to not only promote or help to diminish any inflammation in my body, but it's also great for immune support. So supporting and having a stronger, healthier immune system so that when my body does come in contact with some type of threat that I'm, easily able to fight that off. So those are 2 of, I find the most common and best ways to use frankincense. Now, it's awesome for skin health as well. So Frankincense, I like to use a drop in my moisturizer and rub that on my face. It's really great for fine lines and wrinkles. So it just helps really to promote healthy skin. And another way that we use in my house, use frankincense a lot, is my kids play sports, and even if your kids don't play sports, just being active, they're gonna have little aches and pains and maybe a hurt wrist or knee or ankle or whatnot. I like to put frankincense on that area, and it just really helps with the inflammation that can occur from any type of injury like that. And we've just had really, really great success with using frankincense for those type things. My children, it's usually a sports related injury, but we've had really good success with that. So that's another way that we like to use it. The next single oil blend is Melaleuca. Now, many of you are familiar with Melaleuca. It's known, or the other name for it is tea tree oil. And tea tree oil is actually one of the first essential oils that I used when I didn't even know what essential oils were. Somebody told me like 15 years ago, I had some breakouts on my face, and somebody told me to get some tea tree oil and put it on my skin, and I did. And it helped. Of course, that wasn't a high quality tea tree oil that I had, but that's one way to use Melaleuca, is for any type of skin issue. The awesome thing about Melaleuca is it has really high antiviral, antibacterial, and antifungal properties. There really are very, very few, in terms of traditional medication, there are very few antivirals out there, because these medications the molecules tend to not be able to penetrate through the cell membrane to get at the threat. Whereas essential oils, again, I mentioned at the beginning of the class that essential oils their particles are so small that they can actually pass through that cell membrane to get at the actual threat and to help rid our bodies of it. So that's a way that really, it's just an awesome property that Melaleuca has. So anytime we, again, feel like we're coming down with something, Melaleuca is always one of my go-tos. It is the most common oil that is used for ear discomfort. How many of you have or have had children who have had ear discomfort? I've even had this, as an adult, and have tried this out on myself, and it works every single time. You would take the Melaleuca, dilute it, and rub it around the ear, sort of in front of the ear, and then around the back of the ear. I find that 2 to 3 times a day, typically 2 to 3 days, and it's gone. Now, here's where I want to kind of give you a cost comparison. I mentioned at the beginning that I would kind of give you some ideas on how these compare cost-wise. So, if you were, let's say you had a child who had some ear discomfort, and you needed to take off work to take them to see a provider. Maybe you, had to take time off work without pay, so you've lost some money there. Maybe, you had to pay a copay, and then maybe you got a prescription for a medication that they wanted you to use, and you had to pay for that. That can really add up, right? That can really be costly, not to mention what you're putting into your child's body, the potential harm that you could possibly be doing. Now, using the Melaleuca, let's say you had this tool on hand and you could grab that and use that first to see if you could get the desired effect. Melaleuca cost 8 cents per drop. 8 cents. So that just goes to show you right there how truly cost effective these oils can be. Not to mention the fact that you're using something natural that works with your body, that works at a cellular level, that, again, our bodies know how to use and know how to process. I should also mention, let me go back to peppermint just for a second, because one of the ways that we really like to also use peppermint that I forgot to mention is for reducing body temperature. So if you or someone in your family has elevated body temperature and you don't want to use a synthetic medication and you wanted to try something natural like peppermint, you would dilute that and apply it to the bottom of the feet. Now, the reason I brought this up is because these oils work with our bodies and our bodies know, they recognize them, they know how to process them and how to utilize them. Once they get into our bodies use them pretty quickly and then they're gone. So what you will find with the oils in comparison to maybe some of your traditional treatments is that you will need to apply them more frequently. So if, for instance, I was using peppermint to decrease body temperature, I may need to apply peppermint every 30 minutes to an hour, 1 to 2 drops every 30 minutes to an hour until the body temperature came down to, an acceptable range. And typically I found in my experience that I've only have to reapply typically 3, maybe 4 times. So not a lot, but just I wanted you to know that up front. And that's the reason why, because our bodies know how to utilize these and process these. Now, Melaleuca, one more thing about Melaleuca. We were talking about Melaleuca. As far as skin health, I talked about the fact that it's really great for any breakouts, blemishes, cold sores. But also I like to use it with lavender because if you have, let's say you or your child has a cut, a scrape, an abrasion, and the lavender is going to be great for calming of the skin, but using the Melaleuca with it is really going to give you that antimicrobial benefit to help prevent any bacteria, anything from forming and turning into something that you don't want it to. So just really you get that big benefit from Melaleuca. So that's another really great way to use that particular oil. And those of you, I see that you're commenting, which is great. I appreciate it. If we're talking about a specific oil and there's a way that you love to use it, please definitely share with the group because that's how we all, learn from each other, is by sharing our experiences. Now, the next oil is oregano. And oregano is kind of like a powerhouse in terms of its immune support and its antibacterial and antiviral benefit. So huge. If again, we feel like we're coming down with something, oregano is going to be another one of my go-tos that I'm always going to use to help support my body to fight off whatever it has come in contact with. So that's probably the biggest way that we use oregano, and also I use it in cooking. So these are great for the fact that most people don't have fresh oregano on hand, or if you have dried, it might be like 3 years old and not good anymore, right? So these are awesome. They're so multi-purposed that you can keep them around and use them in cooking. Another thing that oregano is great for is it will help to remove any thing on the skin that's unwanted, such as a skin tag or even a wart. It will help your body to remove that. Now, oregano is considered a hot oil. What I mean by that is you would never ever want to use oregano, no matter if you had sensitive skin or not, directly on just healthy fresh skin. Okay, you can use it diluted, but otherwise you would have a skin sensitivity, meaning that your skin would get red and irritated because it's considered a hot or caustic, is another term that we use, oil. So just always dilute your oregano. That's all you really need to know. Always dilute your oregano and you're good to go. Now, let's see, those are the 6 single oil blends out of those 10. The next 4 that I'm going to talk about are doTERRA's, a few of doTERRA's blended oils. So they have taken several essential oils and put them into these little amazing blends. The first one is called Breathe. This is doTERRA's respiratory blend. Now this one is amazing for any type of respiratory issue, whether it is some congestion, cough, even for some of those seasonal threats, it works really well. Breathe helps to open the airways and really helps to break up some of the mucus, that you can get when you're coming down with something or have been exposed to something, and just helps you to really rid your body of that. So one of the best ways to use Breathe is in a diffuser. So anytime me or somebody in my family has a cough, congestion, I'm going to be diffusing Breathe throughout my house, especially at night on their bedside table. And I can see immediate difference the next morning when they wake up. I mean, truly, guys, it is amazing to really just kind of have these tools on hand. And as mamas, many of you on here are moms. When our kids aren't feeling well, we want something that we can use and can see immediate effects from, something that's going to help them, because we feel kind of helpless, right? So having these just really simple tools on hand really empower you to help your family feel better and just really elevate their health overall. Now, another way to use Breathe, I think Krista just mentioned that. Yes, that's a great way before going for a run, even just a workout. Opening up the airways, placing 1 or 2 drops of Breathe in the hand. You can then place a few drops of your carrier oil, rub that together. You can inhale it to get that aromatic benefit and then rub it on the chest. Now, what I also like to do if any of us are congested or have a cough, in addition to the diffuser, I will also rub it, especially on the kids, on their chest several times throughout the day. Again, opening up of the airways and ridding the body of that mucus and congestion. A lot of people with chronic lung issues have found really great success using Breathe for the benefit, for those benefits that I mentioned. Now, this is one that is not recommended for internal use. So you will see, just to kind of give you just to show you, this does not have those supplemental facts on the side of the bottle. So that's how you know if you can take one internally or not. The next blend that is one of my favorites is called Deep Blue. Deep Blue is known as the soothing blend. Deep Blue is kind of I use Deep Blue every day. Deep Blue is great for any type of muscle or joint discomfort. It's another one that I kind of have in sort of what I consider like my first aid kit. So anytime we are playing sports, out, doing things, somebody gets injured or has some type of discomfort. I myself have a lot of back pain from time to time. I like to use the Deep Blue before I exercise. It really helps to loosen up the muscles. Kind of think of it like almost like an icy hot, because it kind of has a little bit of a similar smell. And it also does that when it gets on the skin, it has that sort of hot cold effect. You know how when you if you put it on and then you go exercise, when you sweat and heat up, then you can feel it kind of heat up. Will this help with sciatica? Yes, it will. Another good thing, it definitely will help with some of the discomfort from sciatica. Another really good thing for the discomfort is frankincense, because you have a component of inflammation there, and the frankincense is really, really great for that. So those two together are really great to use. But yes, Deep Blue is one of my go-tos that I use all the time. And the next blend is Digest Zen. Digest Zen is doTERRA's digestive blend. So this one, you can see, does have supplemental facts on the side, so that's how you know that it can be consumed internally. Now, Digest Zen is another one that I have as a go-to all the time. I mean, how many times do you or your kids have a stomach ache, or your kids are saying, oh, my stomach hurts? We keep this in a little simple roller bottle, and they know where it's at. They know how to use it. They roll it right on their stomach, and the topical absorption you can see results within minutes. This was actually the first oil that I was exposed to. And I, maybe like many of you that are brand new to this or just watching this, was very skeptical at first. It was actually my sister who, she started using them about only like a couple of weeks before I did, but she had gotten some and she was at my house. I was having some stomach discomfort. She gave me some Digestin and said, try this on your stomach. I thought, well, this is crazy. How is this even going to work? And it worked. And at that point, you know, I still had that level. I wasn't there yet, so I still had that level of skepticism. But I thought, you know what? If this is all natural, pure, there are no synthetics, no toxins, it works with my body, why wouldn't I try it, right? Why wouldn't I try incorporating this? I mean, you know, what's the worst that could happen? I would be out a little bit of money. That's it. So I got a kit and started using them, experimenting, using them in my family for everything. And they just, time after time after time, showed how amazing they were and how, you know, it really helped. It really helps you feel very empowered to take your health into your own hands. So that just reminded me that this was the first oil that I was actually exposed to. But Digestin, because these oils work to restore balance in your body, this can be used for anything, whether, you know, it's your stomach is moving too slow or too fast. We have to be a little bit careful with some of the verbiage that we use on live video. So I think you know what I mean, but either way, it can be used for any type of GI discomfort or issue. Let's just say that. My kids keep it in their book bags to use at school. If they have any issue, they can go to their book bag. Yes, Marcella, absolutely. Actually, lots of testimonies with that particular issue that you mentioned, and relieving discomfort with that issue. So yes, definitely can be used for that. The last oil that I want to mention tonight is On Guard, and this is doTERRA's protective blend. On Guard, it smells amazing. It is it's a blend of, it has clove, it has cinnamon, wild orange, rosemary, and it is very effective for increasing the immune system. So I use On Guard myself, my children, daily on the bottoms of their feet to increase and promote a really healthy immune system. And if we feel like, again, we are coming down with anything, I will always incorporate more On Guard, you know, maybe a couple of times a day, whether it's topically on the feet or internally. You know, based on, if it's me, I'm probably going to take it internally. If it's the kids, I'll use it topically on their feet. Also, diffusing this one in the air is one that is great for cleansing the air and ridding the air of some of those germs that we talked about earlier. So On Guard is kind of a must-have, and doTERRA actually makes, it's great for cleaning your house. doTERRA actually makes a whole line of On Guard products, things from laundry detergent to cleaner to toothpaste. I mean, it's amazing. On Guard is just amazing. It's kind of a must-have in my opinion. I have it in my diffuser now. Yes, Jen, so I know a lot of teachers that actually do diffuse it in their classroom, and also like clean the tables and things with a spray in the classroom. Awesome. So those are the 10 basic oils. Now I want to talk about just a couple more things and tell you how you can take advantage and get some of these into your own home if you're ready, you know, to take that step and to make the shift towards a healthier lifestyle and incorporating some of these tools. First, I get asked a lot, you know, when I get some of these oils, how am I going to know what to do with them? How am I going to know how to use them? Okay. And that, you know, is a valid concern. So that is one reason that it is super important to work with someone who can help to educate you. So many of you were added to this group by someone else. So whoever added you to this group, if you are ready to get started, then please go back to that person because they would love to help you get started. a couple of resources that I wanted to mention to you. My favorite, I'll say one of my favorite resources is this book right here. It's called The Essential Life Book, and it has listed in it, it will list every individual oil, tell you what all the uses are for that oil, excuse me, and then you can also look up specific conditions, and it will tell you which oils can be used for specific complaints and conditions. So this is an amazing reference and resource to have. There's also another one that I want to mention that I love, and also comes in an app for your phone called Modern Essentials, and it has the same type setup as the Essential Life Book. The Essential Life Book has a lot of DIY recipes in it, so that's kind of what makes it a little bit different than the Modern Essentials. But the Modern Essentials comes in an app for your phone, so that's super awesome. Now, one of the biggest resources that you will find if you decide to start incorporating some of these oils is our wellness team. We have a huge team of individuals who are using these oils, sharing. We have a private Facebook group where you will be included if you decide to join our team and get started with some of the oils. And it's just a great reference to ask questions and just for support as you're learning. And again, you're going to be connected with whoever the person is that invited you to the class that's going to help you get started, and you'll be able to use them as a reference and a resource. So it's so important versus, buying these oils that are much lower quality over the counter, because you have no one to go to help you, and you don't even really know what you're getting in those bottles. So the way that you can get started with some of these oils, doTERRA offers a wholesale membership, and I want you to kind of think of this like a Sam's Club or a Costco membership. It's $35 for the year, and that gets you 25% off of all the products. So that's super. I mean, you'll make that $35 back in no time, after you've purchased a few products. Now, the nice thing is doTERRA does include, does offer enrollment kits, and I'm going to post these in the group when we're done so you can look them over. But they offer many different enrollment kits. When you enroll with a kit, the membership is free. So the $35, you don't pay the $35, and you get a discount by ordering, in a kit, because you're ordering in bulk, so to speak. Now, those 10 oils, I want to tell you what my two favorite kits are. Number one, most popular favorite kit is going to be the Home Essentials kit. That comes with this diffuser that I showed you, this petal diffuser, and diffusing is, you'll want a diffuser. Trust me, when you get these oils, you are going to want a diffuser. So a diffuser, and it comes with all of those 10 oils that we talked about during the class tonight, the big bottles, the 15 milliliter bottles of the oils. So the Home Essentials kit comes with the diffuser, all of the oils. And I want to tell you also that there's actually a special this month. doTERRA periodically will do a special where you can get other things for free. The thing that you can get for free this month that you would qualify for with this Home Essentials kit is the Deep Blue. This is the one that's for muscle aches and joint aches and pains. It comes in a rub, like a lotion, and this is my absolute favorite way to use it. And it also comes in a really convenient little roller bottle that's pre-diluted that you can keep in your purse or in your car, and that's what I like to do. I like to have both of these on hand. These two are worth $95. You get these free this month. So, I mean, huge value, just amazing deal. So I wanted to let you know that up front, that you would be able to get those free with the Home Essentials kit. Now, the second most popular kit that I love is called the Natural Solutions kit. This is a little bit of a larger kit, but it incorporates not only oils and diffusers, or a diffuser, it also incorporates some of doTERRA's other wellness products, such as the toothpaste. It comes with a nice little box that you can, wooden box that you can keep your oils in. This is, the Natural Solutions Kit would really be for someone who is really ready to start shifting towards a healthier lifestyle in multiple areas of their life, okay? You're gonna obviously get a bigger savings when you get a bigger kit. So those are probably the two most popular kits, but you know, like I said, guys, it's really just about taking the step in the right direction to get some of these tools into your home to really start making a shift in a positive direction. So I want to stay on just for another minute or two to see if anyone has any questions that maybe were not answered tonight. Yes, I do love the Modern Essentials book too. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining. I am going to post those kits in the group as promised. I'll also post that promotion that I spoke of. And reach out to me or whoever invited you to the class if you're ready to get started, because we'd love to help you get started and also get you added to our wellness team where you can really start learning more. We provide weekly education in that group, and it's really an amazing group of people. So anyway, guys, I'll hopefully see you soon. Take care. Bye.